Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to highlight where I think Salesforce stock could be by the end of this year. Of course, you've been following the channel, you know Salesforce is on my list of top stocks to buy in 2024. To start the year, it has performed well, so I want to highlight where I think it could go from here. So let's jump into the results. Let's look at where Salesforce stock could be to end this year.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
All right, so one of the numbers I need to make my prediction for 2024 is the current trading price. And as of this recording, Salesforce is trading at $282 per share. You can see it's risen nicely since the lows it reached in 2023. Now, another number I'm going to need is Salesforce's forward price to earnings ratio, and it's currently trading at a forward PE of 25.16. You can see historically, going back all the way to 2020, this is on the lower end of the valuation of this stock. It's traded at a forward PE of higher than 30 for the most part before 2022. Of course, 2022 was when enterprises, fearing a recession, started cutting spending after the Federal Reserve started increasing interest rates. So that created a big problem for Salesforce, and that caused the stock price valuation to decrease significantly. Following that, however, the company made some solid adjustments, namely job cuts, cost cutting, that have worked very well, which I'll show you how well they've worked a little bit later in the video. So all that said, now we've got the forward PE. We also need the earnings per share estimates for fiscal year 2025. Since I'm going to use the forward price to earnings ratio to make the prediction for 2024, I need fiscal year 2025 earnings to make the forward PE valuation estimation. And that figure is here at $11.10, is what the analysts that are following Salesforce stock on Wall Street, that's what they expect this company to deliver in fiscal year 2025. Of course, nobody knows what's actually going to happen. Nobody knows the future for sure. This is just their best guess based on their financial models. And Wall Street analysts typically have relationships with the management teams of the companies that they're following. They communicate often, they ask questions, they get guidance, and they get more clarification so that they can create their financial forecasts that then help investors make decisions, make financial decisions. So this consensus estimate from Wall Street is the best figure that you can pretty much get in terms of getting guidance for where earnings per share could be in the future, because nobody knows really what the precise number is. Okay, so now that we have the earnings per share estimate for 2025, we can go ahead and plug that into our valuation model and see what the stock price could be. So let's take that 1110 and plug it in, and we'll see what the valuation could be. So 1110 earnings per share estimate for 2025. If the PE forward stays at 25, then the stock price could end the year at $279 per share. Now, if you look at the current stock price, it's at $282 per share. So if those facts remain the same, then Salesforce's stock is expected to be flat or down from now until the rest of the year. Of course, I already mentioned that Salesforce is one of my top stocks to buy for the year. So you can already guess that that's not a scenario that I feel is the most likely scenario. In fact, I expect that Salesforce's forward price to earnings ratio will increase as the year goes on. Because remember, the stock was trading at a forward PE above 30 before that big drawdown in late 2022. Now, I don't expect the valuation to go up to 60 or 50 like it was before 2022, but I do expect it to be higher from here. So let's look at a few scenarios where the forward PE is higher. At a forward PE of 27, the stock price could reach $299 per share by the end of the year, which would be a small $17 increase from where it's trading at now, which I also don't think is the most likely scenario. The most likely scenario, I feel, is a forward PE of around 30 to 32 and a stock price around $333 per share. And I also wanted to consider a worst case scenario. If the forward PE was to fall to 20, the stock price could fall to $222 per share, which would be down meaningfully from where it is now. Now, that's just the worst case scenario that I've modeled. There could be scenarios that are even worse than that. But just in this four case scenario, that's the worst one I looked at here. So let's look at why I think the forward PE is going to increase. In addition to the fact that it historically traded at a higher valuation, you can see the business is in better shape now than it was in 2022 or before 2022, primarily because of the cost cutting. You can see revenue has grown very nicely from around 5 billion all the way up to 34 billion. And recent acquisitions like the acquisition of Slack is going to fuel revenue growth going forward. Analysts on Wall Street expect double-digit revenue growth from Salesforce for the next few years. But look at the operating profit margin, trailing 12-month operating profit margin. Look at the way it jumped after those job cuts, after those cost cuts. Boom, straight up here, 15.87%, more than double where the operating profit margin was at any point in the company's last decade. That's why I say the company is in a better position now than before 2022. And the valuation, meanwhile, is lower than where it was before 2022. So that difference I expect to converge, where you have a better business with better profitability compared to back before 2022. You had a business that was still good, but not as good as it is now, trading at a much higher valuation. So I expect those two factors to converge. A better business doesn't match with a lower valuation compared to where before this business was improved. So I expect this to increase the valuation. And similarly with its cash flow from operations to sales, you can see that jumping up as well following those cost cuts in late 2022, early 2023, 28.33% cash flow from operations to sales. I expect this will continue moving higher throughout this remainder of this year and perhaps even into 2024. So you've got a better business that's generating stronger profitability, yet it's trading at a valuation that's below where it was trading at before the profit prospects were improved. So that's why I expect its forward PE to increase and the valuation to increase. So I said a forward PE of between 30 and 33, 30 and 32, and a stock price somewhere between, to end the year, somewhere between $333 per share and $350 per share for Salesforce to end the year in 2024. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.